It's 10 o'clock, so we will call to order the regular session of the Houston County Commission for January 24th. We do have a quorum as all commissioners are in attendance. I want to welcome all of you that I can't see out there. I just assume there's people out there. Glad you could join us today. We've got a couple of presentations. The reason that is already up, I'm assuming. Our invocation, Pastor Harvey, would you offer our invocation today, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Herring, if you'll all stand.
Father God, we thank you for this day, oh God. Thank you for being our God, our maker, our creator, God. Thank you for watching over us, God. God, we pray now, oh God, that you continue to have your sovereign hand over this entire nation, oh God, protecting us, oh God, leading us in the direction in which you would have, oh God. Bless now the leaders, oh God, of our country, of our nation, oh God, even Houston County and City of Dothan. In Jesus' name that we pray, and everyone say amen.
Amen. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioners, appreciate that. You each received copies of the minutes from the preceding meeting. We have no corrections. So motion to approve. Motion by Commissioner Harvey, second by Commissioner Herring. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Passes. Announcements. Since you're all here, I guess you all got the message that that was not a fire that we were having a little while ago. We were testing the system, so nobody left, I hope. Also wanted to mention, I know many of you, particularly those of us in the real estate business, use our GIS system significantly. We are in the process of changing it over to in-house storage or house hosting. We had a little glitch and it's been down a couple of days last week and it's currently down. Just want everybody to know we are working on that. I hope to have it back up within the next couple of days or so. So just bear with us. And heard out to the realtors how to do a workaround or start with help for the realtors how to do a workaround until it gets up. I just want y'all public to know we're aware of that. We're working on it. So is that all good? Okay. Thanks to all those office and IT working diligently and hard and trying to get that correct. You don't realize how much you spend on things until you don't have it.
We had it taken care of for you, Mr. Chairman.
Y'all are too good. Keep y'all around. All right. Any other announcements? Okay. All right. The first item on the agenda is a presentation from the Dothan Area Chamber of Commerce. We are always glad to have our annual presentation from the chamber, and you are not Matt Parker with Dean Mitchell. Evidently, is Matt not here? So Matt is here. Okay. Dean and Matt and everybody else in the chamber is here. So you can introduce everybody, Dean, and let us know what's going on.
Yes, sir. Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, County Commissioners. We're going to break our presentation up into three parts. I'm going to talk about the chamber operations. Ann Carr from Southeast Alabama Works is going to talk about workforce development, and then the Matt Parker will talk about economic development. Changed here.
And sitting there too long.
Which button I'll push here?
I'm trying to, it's changing on the yeah.
Technology.
Maybe start.
We're gonna have to start having an IT person in there every time. because We have this happen every time.
That's right. I just don't think that. By the numbers, 2021 was a great year for the Dothan Area Chamber of Commerce. In April of this year, we'll celebrate 103 years in our community. We certainly are very appreciative of the partnership that we have with both the city of Dothan and Houston County. Obviously, when you're in a membership-based organization, membership growth is essential. As you can see, we continue to grow. We have an ambitious goal this year to reach 1,200 members, which will put us at one of the highest points we've ever been as a chamber organization. State and national accreditation is very important to us. It shows our continued pursuit of high professional standards and investment in programming and operations to serve our members. There's 102 chambers in the state of Alabama. 21 have received their state accreditation, and we're one of 3 that have received it twice. And there's over 7,000 chambers in the state, in the United States, and 4 in the state of Alabama have received the highest 5-star accreditation by the U.S. Chamber, and we're one of those 4, which obviously are proud points for us and for our membership and the operation of our organization. Dan's going to talk more deeply into workforce development, but here are a couple of highlights that we partnered with several community folks on. We honor 3 local businesses as workforce champions right after Labor Day: Cook, Saw, Eagle Eye, and Townsend Building Supply. These are local businesses that are participating very actively in all the workforce development programs and using the resources that are available and making a difference in building that pipeline of workforce. We also partnered with Wallace Community College, Dothan Home Builders, and Dothan City Schools to do a basic construction carpentry class. We wound up having 8 graduates with that. And early last year, we partnered with the Alfred Saliba Family Services Center and Wallace Community College for a mobile welding unit at the Alfred Saliba Family Services Center here in downtown Dothan. 3 individuals graduated from that class and are currently employed in the welding industry. Shop Local was a big focus of us in December. We initiated our Shop Local It Makes Sense holiday campaign. Over 30,000 people reached in total on videos made for chamber members. We also initiated our first ever 25 days of Christmas to highlight 25 local businesses leading up to Christmas Day. And we reached over 15,000 people in total on Facebook in those 25 days. Working with local, state, and national governments is super important. As we all know, public policy is important to us personally and professionally. And we were pleased to work with the state legislative delegation last year to lobby the governor to stop the extra $300 in federal unemployment benefits and to shore up the Alabama Unemployment Trust Fund to help stabilize the SUTA rates for local businesses. In addition, we recently had our Eggs and Issues Forum, and I'm pleased to have noted that the SUTA Fund will again get some additional funds to help bring down that cost for businesses each year. That's going to be part of the federal relief dollars that come to the state. We're going to celebrate our Dothan Business Hall of Fame. The 10th annual banquet was scheduled for April 2022. We'll be honoring 5 new laureates, and one of those is our distinguished chairman. Congratulations to you, Mr. Chairman. Leadership Dothan, Class 39, raised $32,000 for Girls Inc. Our Dothan area young professionals has increased membership, and they've done 100+ DAYP weekly eats where they visit local restaurants and highlight them on social media. We hosted 12 business lunch and learn seminars covering a wide range of business issues. And our Entrepreneurship Council hosted 9 events highlighting items to start and grow a small business. We had 94 ribbon cuttings in the past year. And if you are on Hayden's email list, you've got 940 emails from her about that. But we do appreciate spreading the news about that. And on a particular point, we were really glad to see a 5% increase in our chamber membership of minority-owned businesses in the past year. Finally, communication obviously is important. As you can tell, we're close to 11,000 followers on Facebook. We reached close to 70,000 people on Facebook in the past month. Instagram, a little over 2,000 followers, and reached almost 7,000 accounts last month, and almost 14,000 impressions on LinkedIn over the past month. But our chamber is in a good point, and we're obviously always continue to look to grow and to continue to increase our membership and to make sure that the business community's voice is being heard. And we certainly appreciate the partnership that we have with each of y'all, and I'll turn it over to Ann for workforce development.
Thank you. Anything?
Thank you, Commissioners, for allowing me to be here. I'm Ann Core with Southeast Alabama Works. We're the Regional Workforce Council, one of 7 in the state. And I'm assuming I don't have control of the slide, so I'll just, if you want to move on. I did want to talk about workforce development because it's a huge part of what we do. Our group does, but also affects the chamber members and all of you. And I'm sure you get calls from constituents who ask about jobs, or they ask about unemployment, or you have business and industry, they're looking for employees. And so it is a very big factor that we want to talk about today. So these are some numbers that were pulled from the Alabama Department of Labor's website to kind of give you an idea of where we were. These are the latest numbers that they have for the labor force, which includes anyone that's 16 and up that is considered either employed or unemployed and looking for work. And so you get an idea. This is for Houston County. Our year-to-date average is around 46.5. The number of those employed is about close to 45,000, and then our unemployment number is about 1,500. So we're close to the state average at 3.2%, which, by the way, is right where we were before COVID. So like January of 2020, that's about where we sat. So I wanted to kind of give you an idea of what are the job opportunities that we have here in the Wiregrass area. And within 25 miles, you can see that on Indeed.com, which is probably one of the most popular websites to do job searches, there were 584 in 7 days. And then Alabama Works, which is the state's employment website, you had about 1,400 in 14 days and about 1,000 more in 30 days that were added at that time. It's no surprise that if you look at the MSA, the number of employees, the highest number of employees fall within our healthcare and social assistance. Retail trade follows up with accommodation and food service, manufacturing and educational services. And then again, matching with that, if you look on the Alabama Works website, you would find that Southeast Health had about 346 jobs, and then the Flowers Hospital with 177. And then you had two contract companies that were looking for healthcare professions. And I mentioned this in another presentation. While that's great that, you know, the 4 out of 5 are healthcare related, and that's no surprise with COVID, those travel accounts, those contractors are, you know, kind of hurting some of our local hospitals. You know, they're either taking our talent pool and taking to other places, or they're turning around and having them quit their job with a permanent employer, either Southeast Health or Flowers or one of the other, you know, healthcare providers we have. And then what they're doing is they're turning around and contracting them back out to that same employer for a much higher rate. And so I had I met with several of the CFOs on different occasions, and, you know, one of their concerns is being able to sustain that rate for what they're asking for hourly wages and salary. So that is a big concern, and we're looking at that from a local level and a state level to try to figure out ways to kind of ease some of that concern. Okay. So out of the job, this is a big statistic for me. When you look at the number of job openings that were on the Alabama Works website at the time that I did this, was about a week ago, there were a little over 3,000 jobs, but there were only 1,600 candidates who had active resumes. And if you took into account that all 1,600 of those actually qualified for any one of those jobs that are posted, you still have 50% left. So we've got to figure out, where are the people? Where can we find the individuals to get back into the workforce? If for whatever reasons, if it's childcare, if it's transportation, if it's taking care of an elderly person at home, if it's lack of skill, whatever it may be, we've got to figure out how to reach those people and get them into the workforce. So some of the things that we're doing as an organization is we're partnering with our chambers, our municipalities, or any partner agency that we can think of, nonprofits, to try to hold neighborhood job fairs, because we realized that if we can put them into areas where people can have access, that we have better success. So back in September, we had our job fair at the Dothan Civic Center. We had 82 employers show up, and we had almost 500 people coming through the doors looking for work, which was a phenomenal number. We also have one in Troy. We had one in Geneva just recently, which also touted some very good numbers. We're following up with those employers, following up with those job seekers to find out how many of those have been successful in securing employment. And we're continuing to work with our local communities to offer more of these opportunities as we go. And then one of the other things that Southeast Alabama Works does is we do the Southeast Worlds of Work. You may have had Melanie Hill come and talk to you guys about that. We have postponed our WOW East, which is going to be at the National Peanut Festival, to March 9th and 10th. We did that out of concern of COVID. We wanted to make sure that all of our students were safe and that they could participate. We wanted to make sure our businesses were able to engage. And the reason that we have a WOW East and a WOW West, we've heard over the years that there wasn't enough time. Students were getting kind of rushed through that process. And if you've never been, I would love for y'all to come this year, because I mean, we're really excited. So this year we split our region, which is 10 counties into 5 and 5. So that we have more focus on the local employer that's right here in our own backyard, and on the student that's right there in your own backyard, and they have more time to engage. We're also adding the 11th grade career tech students into the mix, because that to me is a great opportunity for those students to get co-op opportunities, apprenticeship opportunities, part-time jobs in the summer. Maybe help them to maybe 8th grade, they went through WOW and now they're 11th grade and they've changed their mind. They're not even sure what they want to do. So we want to make sure that we give them an opportunity to get in front of those employers and make some relationships. And then in the spring, we'll have our WOW Varsity, which is where we're going to actually do these at the high schools this year. We'll have 7 locations. We'll have one at Dothan High School to feed our Houston County, Henry County, and Dothan City School seniors through that process. And that's been very successful in the past for students to either line up summer work, maybe to do part-time work while they're going to the local community college. And then oftentimes it's for students that maybe aren't planning on furthering their education, or maybe they've done dual enrollment and now they've already got enough skill to be able to work and be contributing to an employer. So that's been very successful. We're very excited about that. One last thing that the state has done is we have the Alabama Workforce Stabilization Program. That was a I think it was $17.5 million Department of Education grant that the state was awarded. And we're working with companies right now in the healthcare, manufacturing, information technology, transportation, and construction industries to try to either upskill their current employees or hire new employees to fill those gaps. The components of this is that there's wage reimbursement for those individuals who are hired to learn a skill, but there's also a component that pays for training. So if we work with Wallace Community College, or if they have in-house training that they already do, that we can help offset that cost. We want to do that because we want to support whatever advancements in their economy that they're trying to do for their company. And so if you know employers that are having struggles with workforce development, I hope that you will send them to Southeast Alabama Works so we can talk to them about what's available, help them with marketing their current openings, or recruiting for new talent, or if they have questions about I've got some employees that need to learn some additional skills, what can you do for me? That's what we're here for. So thank you.
All right, good morning. How you guys doing today?
Good.
All right. Well, good report. Everything pumping on all cylinders in our economy. We're excited about that. And a lot of that's because of the great support you guys give us for our economic development work. And we can't thank you enough. And I'll tell you, you guys have done a great job with collaboration and working together with all the different entities we do for economic development. So we appreciate it very much. Good news, this past year over year, we added 2,000 jobs to our metro area. Couple things really stand out on that. 500 of those jobs were manufacturing. And then we saw a big boost with our leisure and hospitality industry with all the different events that Visit Dothan has going on. We saw 600 more people jump into that arena, so that sector is recovering for us as well. So good news from that standpoint. And we saw that definitely with the revenue increases, 12% jump for the city year over year in sales tax collection as well as the county. And then lodging saw a big boost, 20% increase year over year. And I do want to really highlight, everybody did a great job encouraging people to shop local. And when we looked at our sales tax collections for both the city and the county, December this year versus December last year, we saw a 24% jump. That's pretty impressive, you know? So shopping local helps. Also, some great national news. We were ranked one of the top metro areas in the United States for people migrating to the area. As long as we got houses and property, we can handle those folks and good health care and good quality of life. So that was pretty intriguing statistically where people are coming from. So good news for our market from that standpoint, and wanted to share that with you guys. You know, what are we seeing with our average wages? They're going up. Saw about another 6% bump estimated this year for the 2021 year. That data is not finalized yet. That's a projection from the Department of Labor. So good wage appreciation, average annual hourly wage in our market, metro market. So wages are going up and hopefully they'll spend more money. When we look at all the projects that we work with year over year, we saw 99 projects this year, you know, whether it was helping small business, retailers, or little distribution projects, healthcare, insurance, finance, manufacturing, the whole works, compared to last year in the pandemic in 94. And then in 18, it was in the 90s as well. So good, steady activity in our market. And that's pretty interesting from that standpoint. Again, thanks to your support and leadership with creating microloans and revolving loan fund programs through the many years. We helped 14 of those companies this year with that, loaned out roughly $1.7 million in our market, and that leveraged $6.8 million of private activity financing and helped create or maintain 150 jobs. Pretty interesting stat, you know. Well, think about many years of these programs, the microloan program, revolving loan program, and the number of projects we've done every year since its inception. If we didn't have that, we would have missed basically a Mercedes and a half plant with the economic impact. So taking that local initiative, creating those programs and being aggressive with our small business folks is paying off for us. And again, we want to recognize the Small Business Development Center too for helping and counseling a lot of our businesses out there too. But important stuff there. Where does this all lead? Well, priorities 2022. I know Barclay's going to be excited. But, you know, the one big challenge that we have, and we're certainly addressing it, the county's addressing it too, is really we need more space, more industrial property that has heavy infrastructure for processing and good water supplies and that. So that's something that we're really trying to identify, a good 100, 200 acre site that really gives us high-end infrastructure out there. We're already planning to do 100,000 square foot spec building out at Sam Houston on a good lot, lot number 3, which is basically about a 20 acre lot. Because we don't have a building on the market that's available over 100,000 square feet right now. And as you know, about 90% of our activity and what we're seeing in industrial is existing buildings. So, you know, that's certainly helping us with our regional efforts to push those other properties throughout the region to get projects out there. But right now, biggest building I could put together right now that is available is 40,000 square feet, basically 44. So that's a real critical area right now for us. So it's important we get that up there. And again, Colton Kirk is back there. He's working very hard on the retail and redevelopment as well as doing economic development, helping us out from that standpoint as well. So we appreciate his addition to our staff from that standpoint. And just, you know, when you look at the last 6 years, we've seen $720 million in investment, over 4,000 jobs in our area that we work collaboratively with throughout the multi-county area. So pretty interesting, pretty good impact there with all the work and partnerships that are out there. And this is our current activity. You got the squares that are potential projects, and you got the triangles that are current projects in motion. You know, some of those squares hopefully will be projects, but they're still speculative. They're still in multi-stage searches, but you know, the state's been active. We've been active working with them to put projects in there or with consultants that we work with. So pretty good project activity. It's really amazing. And, you know, some of those squares, it would be good to have the buildings. We're all doing greenfield sites, so we're seeing what we can do with those projects. And then on the commercial retail front, these are active and projects that are proposed being worked on right now. That just kind of shows a little bit of the activity that we're seeing in our market and, you know, keeping it going. So we're excited about everything that's going on. You know, there's always new opportunities and new challenges, but you guys have been great partners for us. We appreciate the collaboration and assistance and your whole team from Road and Bridge to Revenue Commission Office. And Charlie does a great job, your whole administrative team here. Thank you guys for your work and collaboration and appreciate it very much.
Yeah, thank you, Matt. We appreciate the work you and your whole staff does. I'm glad to have you on board. I don't know if all y'all met Colton, but hit the ground running and that keeps them busy. And, you mentioned the word, Dean mentioned the word partner, I don't know how many times. And I think it's important for us all to continue to recognize that if we didn't have the partnerships and the wiregrass that we do, we talked about it Thursday, I think, in the city too, that we couldn't accomplish half of what you've got up there. We don't, you know, we're not a Huntsville or an Art of Life or some of these places and have the resources they do. So without us pulling together, we could not do the things we do. That's extremely important. We're fortunate to have capabilities we do at Road and Bridge and mentioned Starl's office. City, we need the money in Henry County and the other counties now. I know we'll be, probably next meeting, we bring Dale County into our ID board, and those are all big things. I'm glad we as a group here can do that to do what I think is the most important thing to do, and that's create, you know, a better opportunity for our citizens. Thank you, Matt. Any questions from that before we sit down, by the way, or for any of his team?
Well, therefore, Matt, I'm glad to see, is this on our southeast work, Ms. Ann was mentioning, is this the 11th grade that's going to be able to participate in this?
Yes, sir. It's gonna be 11th grade, 12 CTE career tech students. We're trying to, this is kind of, I'm sorry. Yes, sorry about that. Sorry. It's gonna be our 11th grade career technical students, so anyone that has a touch point, either in ag or any of the dual enrollment, those kind of things. We're doing it this year. This first year that we've split it between our two regions. But the other part of that is we want to see how it works logistically. How well does it work? Because we're trying to keep the grade level separate, right? For safety reasons. And so we have our 8th graders at one point and our 11th graders. If we feel if it's successful and we hope for next year, you know, with business and industry asking them to take 2 or 3 days away from what they're doing on a day-to-day level is kind of difficult. But if they have great return on investment by engaging with these 11th graders, we're hoping to expand that to the full, you know, a larger portion of our 11th graders.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Commissioner Sheets.
Question. So you mentioned that 25% of the new jobs created past year were manufacturing. How much do you attribute that to onshoring? How much do you attribute that to things we're doing differently? What do you attribute that to?
I think a little bit of everything. Just seeing the supply chain disruptions the last couple of years and going into the pandemic, we saw a lot of people shifting their supply chain from overseas to domestic, which is a big plus. And of course, I think, you know, at the time, you know, the Tax Reform Act was passed at the federal level, how Alabama's incentive program has been revamped and updated to stay in track. So I think some of those policy changes will help. Again, a very active regional Southeast Alabama Works, which has been key labor driving. So having that focus from a state standpoint, to let companies know that they can get what the help they need, and it's out there and it's constant, and it's out there. And I just think, you look at that migration study, people relocate here, you had a lot of parts in the country that shut down, and, people got tired of that, they felt closed in, and they said, hey, I'm looking at different places to do stuff, so that's what they did, they started heading down south, to the pro-business climate, and we're seeing the benefit of that, so just a combination of different things that way.
Anecdotally, my son is on a ski team this year. He's got a child that's on the team with him. I was talking to the child's mother, and they're from Upper Michigan. They decided to move. They had looked where do we want to live, but they didn't really know anybody down here. But after researching, they figured this was the best place from a political climate, from a weather climate, from a business climate. This is what they decided to move to. So they play a big part of this. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Mr. Harry.
Man, I appreciate what you guys do. I know you're working hard over there at the chamber and all of it. I noticed you put on there 100 to 200 acres of property, maybe partnering with someone and so forth. And I know we had talked in the past about done it by McLean, the state, off the state line road, and I just wanted to make sure that we still keep that maybe moving a little bit, and maybe we get the infrastructure in place and get the water in place. And I'm maybe hoping that we can start moving something there. I love to see some distribution, manufacturing plants, jobs created, because that creates sustainable revenue.
That's a big deal, right?
And I want you to know I'm all in on that. It's time to go get them whatever I need to do to help. I'm ready to help.
Absolutely.
Yeah, one of our, matter of fact, our top project you'll be voting on soon, hopefully, to approve enhancing service to our citizens. One of the benefits will be to enhance that project, that park down there, which hopefully will increase its viability for Matt to do his job down there. We talked about what Matt had up there, and we're hoping to partner and have some industrial property so that he does have some additional inventory, and then with no work from us, hopefully. And then the spec building will have the board here pretty soon. So trying to do some things, and again, I keep saying the word partnership, but that's what we're doing with. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Mr. Chairman,
Next
Mr.
item on the
Chairman,
agenda, no, sir, no comment.
no comment.
Next
Thank you,
item
sir.
on the
Thank
agenda
you, sir,
is
for this welcome,
presentation from Road- Please.
Thank you for invading my
Road and Bridge.
Constitutional First Amendment rights.
Would you please keep your voice down, there are no comments. Presentation, Road and Bridge completed work projects for 2021. Barclay? Come up there. I'm over here, and you said he was going to go there.
This is kind of broken down into rebuild work and then everything else. So we'll kind of roll it first, which goes along with what we passed the last meeting. That was the plan itself, what we did, this is some pictures of it, stuff like that.
Would you please speak up, sir, where we can hear you out here? We have mics up there. Please use them.
Can anybody hear him? Okay, everybody can hear him.
Yeah, nobody in here is interested in hearing. Nobody in here but employees.
You need to quit speaking up without being recognized. That's not the way we run this meeting.
I understand, sir.
That's the second warning today.
Move on.
You get one more.
This is 2021 rebuild, fiscal year 2021, Houston County completed the following projects, 10 completed projects. Well over 18 miles of road was resurfaced, over 36 miles of shoulder work completed. 47 cross drains were replaced, and we currently have 2 projects in progress right now. Go back one time. The paving, the 18 miles of resurfacing was let out the contract. Everything else, the shoulder work, the cross drains, and everything else is done by county forces. We have that cost in here later. Okay. This is that form that we approved a couple of meetings ago. And the little highlighted parts you can't see just says the one on the left is 18 miles of roadway that was resurfaced. We spent approximately $2.3 million resurfacing that. We have about $2.3 million left to complete County Road 7, County Road 8, and County Road 75. And the other little one on the far right is our funds, our county swap funds, that we get $400,000 a year. That money is just banking over there. There's $800,000 in that account. These are the roads that we completed this year. And that little bit that we circled and pulled over is Trelawney subdivision. That was a subdivision we went in and resurfaced. Quite a bit of paving, went on last year. We resurfaced County Road 33, 3.67 miles. Spent about $450,000 worth of Alabama rebuild funds. Shoulder work and replaced 11 cross drains at a cost of about $50,000 for county forces. We paved Lucy Gray Road 2.25 miles, a little over $303,000 in asphalt. We did 4.5 miles of shoulder work and replaced 2 cross drains for $37,381. Elm Road, that's a road in Ashford, that we partnered with Ashford to get their tax, their rebuild tax funds. But it's right at half a mile of paving. Total of $47,700 in rebuild funds. And we did the shoulder work and replaced 2 cross drains on that. Pleasant Grove Road, 3.1 miles. We spent roughly $529,697 of rebuild funds on asphalt. Shoulder work and 11 cross drains cost roughly $442,411. Trelawney was a little over half a mile, level and resurfacing. We spent about $50,000 on asphalt. We did the shoulder work in there. It cost us right at $24,000 and replaced 2 cross drains in there. Dove Drive was 0.2 miles. We spent roughly $21,000 in rebuild funds, and we did the shoulder work in there and replaced the cross drain, which was a little over $12,000. Hopkins Road was right at 1.7 miles. We spent roughly $200,000 on asphalt. We did the shoulder work, replaced 2 cross drains at a cost of $87,000 to the county. Brandon Way was 2.8 miles, roughly $347,000 worth of rebuild funds, shoulder work, and the cross drains. Cost the county about $416,000, and that county cost, now that comes out of our budget. That's money we budget every year for different projects and all that stuff. Coot Adams, 2.7 miles, $272,000 in asphalt work, shoulder work, and 6 cross drains, $146,000.
Another thing with the county costs is that's labor, equipment, and material.
Yeah, it's everything. Cost overview, total rebuild Alabama funds, $2.328 million. The completed cost was $2.285, so we came in roughly about $40,000 under what we had estimated on all those roads for the asphalt work. Our part of the work that we did with our forces was $1.284 million. That's cross drain, shoulder work, permanent striping. And now a lot of counties now put that $1.284 million in their rebuild money. That's money they can't spend on paving that we get to spend on paving because we're able to do that work with our forces. So if we had to put that in there, that $5 million that we got, you take out $1.2 million in resurfacing. So just so you know, this is just a little comparison. On cross drains, it cost us $837,516 last year to replace the cross drains on those projects. You take contractors' numbers, their cost, if we let that out, would be a little over $1.6 million. The shoulder work that we do, we machine grade the shoulder, we haul the bar, we put it out, we grass it. It costs us roughly $12,800 a mile. Contractors to do all that will be right at $20,000 a mile. Plus, we go down where we can in the ditches and try to create drainage, any drainage issues and all. A contractor's gonna do 5 or 6 feet and that's it. So just showing you, we can do a lot of this work cheaper than we can hire. And and better. These are our last two projects that are in progress right now. It's County Road 75 North. We're on the last cross drain on it right now. There's roughly a little over 600,000 in paving on that. And County Road 8, which is the longest road we're doing, 16 miles. We've got the leveling down on it. We've got the shoulder work done. We're gonna go back and level up a few more spots before we put the surface on, and the surface will be applied in probably March or April, somewhere like that. And so, and then everything will be complete. Okay. Most people have forgotten we had a hurricane last year. I mean, you would be shocked at the number of people who have completely forgotten there was a hurricane. Last fiscal year, yes. Okay. All the pink sites are FEMA sites, the green sites are FHWA sites. These are all cross drains that got blown out in the hurricane. There were 27 FEMA sites at a cost of $1.5 million. We laid over 1,088 feet of pipe, and we replaced one actually the year before on sanitary dairy, so that total's not in there. And then we also have a project waiting in FEMA, this Old Taylor Place in Ashford. It's under mitigation right now that we're trying to get passed through. We're gonna change some of the drainage in there to try to help keep it from flooding. So 6 FHWA sites, a total of 605,000, over 400 linear feet of pipe. And you can see in that bottom picture to the right, some of these were big sites. That's a big site right there. So these aren't just small little cross drains that you go throw in and you go to the next one in 2 days. So we did all the pre-bill work. We had all the hurricane work. Plus we had COVID. Plus we keep 12 to 15 positions open. So if something takes a little longer to get to than what you think it does, there's a lot of work been done this last year. That if it's not, you know, people might not see it because we're working down on County Road 8. People in Wicksburg don't know that, but there's a lot of work being done in Houston County. The FEMA and the FHWA money are refundable. FHWA would get 100% back if we complete it in a timely manner. FEMA would get 75% back, and then we get another 10% from the state when the project's through. And currently, we've got all our money back from the storm except for that in yellow. And we should get all that back once everything's complete. This is just some more work. This highway safety improvement program project. This was a project the state came out with. We were the first county to get a project in this program that the state had. It's a 90-10 grant. And we applied for it at the roundabout at Cameron Highway and Taylor Road. We built that project for a total cost of $677,000. Out of pocket money of the county was $67,000. The state put an estimate together to build it, and it was $3.5 million. So now the state is thinking about trying to partner with county to do this work themselves, the few that can do it. So they really see that we can, if you get out there and you do it and not hire everything done, you can do it yourself cheaper and better. But anyway, this was a success in my opinion right here. Go ahead. We had 2 MPO projects on Muncie Road and North Broad Street. MPO funds $526,000, county match $131,000. South Park, we resurfaced a little over a mile, and MPO funds $234,000, with county match at $73,000 roughly. A few special projects we did last year too. The Medigold demolition over here at 5 Star. Cost of $54,000. The Rehoboth Ball parking lot. I don't know how many of y'all have ever been to Rehoboth, but where you pull up in there and park at the baseball field is a mess. And Commissioner Herring, I think it was for Montgomery, talked to them and got it approved, and we was able to do this parking lot and partnered with Rehoboth and the high school and us to do this parking lot. So, and now they have a parking lot instead of a mess over there to walk in. On the tire cleanup, that's ADM, we did a $36,000 in tire cleanup last year, and that's refundable. Just some other cross drains, along with all the other ones we did, was on these 8 roads at a cost of $302,000, and we laid roughly 390 linear feet of pipe. Strike right at 80 miles in Houston County at a cost of a little over $1,400 a mile. If you let that out the contract, it's $4,000 a mile. So the striping program does work when we keep the truck running. So, but we changed out some of the back end. We're making some more changes now, and it's working now good. And we also went to Coffee County and striped 124 miles. And they pay us back for all our labor and stuff when we go over there. Herbicide, we sprayed a little over 7,000 miles of roadway for a total of $265,976. At roughly a cost of $34 a mile, what it costs to spray. We mowed one time, 1,645 miles. Almost the same cost, but it's $157 a mile to mow. So when people ask, why do we spray instead of mow? That's why. It's cheaper to spray. Plus, we don't have the manpower to mow. It takes 44 days to mow one time around the county, and we just don't have the manpower to do it. Grading, we graded a little over 1,150 miles of road last year, when we can. Work orders, we had a total of 1,638 work orders called in last year through towns and commissioner, everybody. And we completed, what was the time? 1,597 of 1,638. So, and all this is on top of COVID and everything else. So just to let y'all know, okay? That's just a breakdown of work orders, town requests, a little over $80,000 worth of work. The other ones are 1.286 million, and for a total of, right at 1.4 million in work orders called. All right, that's all I got.
Thank you. Any questions for Barkley? Y'all do, goes without saying, y'all do great work out there. We appreciate it.
And I should have brought in Ashley
Tyler and all the men and women that work out there.
I should have brought Ashley and some of his team in, but they do a very, very, very good job of getting all this work done. Tyler, everybody. So I'll stack them up against anybody.
We don't pass a policy where commissioners can't give you work orders. Y'all might get more done.
They're not bad.
All right. Moving on to the regular agenda. Yeah, if you want to, yeah, sure. If you want to make a comment.
Yeah, Mark, I know Thursday that I told you, I appreciate what you guys do. That's an eye opener right there. When you sit back and people don't see what's happening day to day or month to month. But whenever you see that right there, you guys are doing a lot of work. And you're right, because of COVID, because of hurricanes and different things that come along. A lot of people don't see that. And I get a lot of those complaints sometimes from people and wondering why you're not doing this or why they're not doing that. But I tell you, I know you guys out there working. I see you out there working, and I appreciate what y'all do. So let you guys know that the Bridge Department, Commissioner Herring appreciates them, and to continue on doing what they're doing.
Any other comment? All right, we will, good job. 2 good presentations. Thank you, Barkley, and thank you guys and girls from the chamber. Moving on to the regular agenda. The first item is request to award bid for asphalt and paving products for county parking lot projects to the lowest bidder meeting specs. Motion to approve. Motion by Commissioner Shute, second by Commissioner Singfield. Any questions or comments? All in favor say aye. Opposed, motion passes. Item number 2 is a request to approve any-kind services for the Moody Hospital redevelopment project. Motion by Commissioner Singfield, second by Commissioner Harvey. Questions or comments? All in favor say aye. Opposed, motion passes. Item number 3, request to sell the following items on Gov Deals: 471 Massey Ferguson tractor and miscellaneous items. Motion to approve, motion by Commissioner Harry. Second by Commissioner Shute. Questions or comments? All in favor, say aye. Opposed, motion passes. Staff reports, Mr. Chief Administrative Officer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. No change.
Thank you. Mr. County Engineer, anything additional?
2 closed roads, County Road 75 and Suggs Road. And Suggs with a full cross range place, so we're gonna be there. I'll let you know when I have. We'll send out notifications moving up the road.
Mr. County Attorney. All right, any questions for the staff? From the commission? All right,